Hi, I want to thank you for watching this video and your potential interest in my small-scale study. I know you're really busy as you're starting your full-time student teaching quarter, so I've made this video and a series of posters to help quickly explain my study. So let's get started. The focus of my study is to look at what does it mean to be a teacher candidate in the digital age. And I'd like to focus my study on understanding your educational history. And by educational history, I mean any past experiences you have had with teaching and learning. You could think about it as answering the question, how do I learn? Who has been important in my learning? Have there been activities or tools or technologies that have influenced how I learn and the process of my learning? So there's two steps in this study. The first step is a visual representation, which I'll explain in a moment, and then a follow-up interview. I'm guessing that each of these steps will take around an hour, so total your participation will be about 2 hours. So if you're still interested, let's keep going. I want to talk a little bit about the visual representation part. You can think about it as an art activity. And there's some specific reasons for why I'd like to include this in the study. The first reason is I want to give you alternative ways to talk about your past. I don't want to limit you by just using words. So we could use lines, images, objects, any type of visual representation to communicate your ideas. This way of thinking can also help uncover different connections or different aspects of your learning past that might be relevant to the study. And then we're going to use your creation during our interview session to help understand how you're learning and what influences your practice as a future teacher. So if you're able to make a visual representation, I'd love for you to think about what is in your educational history. And by that, I mean what people, activities, spaces, tools, and/or technology are part of your educational past. As you think about your learning process, what is important to you when you're learning? And within the people, activities, spaces, tools, and technology, are there differing levels of influence in which these pieces play? So for example, I used to be a high school ceramics teacher, and I can think of a variety of different people, activities, spaces, and tools that were all really influential in my learning. But some of them would be more influential than others. And so I would think about how can I represent that in my visual representation of my educational history. I'd also like for you to consider, does technology or digital media play a role in your past learning life? And if that's the case, I wonder how, and can you represent that in your visual representation? So if you're willing to create one, I'm going to send you a bunch of different paper, markers, and some other art supplies for you to create a visual representation, or you can think of as an art activity of your educational history. And I don't want you to feel limited by just using paper for a drawing. I would be happy for you to use other materials at your house to create a sculpture or a video, anything that best represents your ways of knowing. So we'll take the visual representation and we'll meet for the last step of the study, which will be an interview at the place and time that is best for you. I actually would be happy to come to your school if that would be best for you. And so we'll use the visual representation to really talk about your past learning experiences and how they may influence your practices as a future teacher. I'm really excited to work with you and see the great pieces you create, so I really hope you'll consider participating in this study. Thanks so much.